The opinions expressed in the following program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Rogers nor Rogers TV.
Welcome to the Rogers TV 2018 Georgina Election Debate Series. My name is Karen Wolfe, and I will be moderating the debate for the three Ward 1 candidates. I'll introduce each candidate in a moment, but first I want to go through some of the ground rules that we're going to be following today. Each candidate will be given 1 minute for their opening remarks at the beginning of our program and 1 minute at the end. Now, we've conducted a random draw to determine the order for opening remarks, and that order will be reversed for closing statements. The questions that we're going to be asking our candidates have been developed based on some input that we've received from the community, and the candidates will each be given 1 minute to answer each of the questions. And at any time, we can open up the floor for debate if any one of them challenge or wish to debate something they've heard from one of the opponents. So, thank you for being with us. I do want to mention that this program is also co-sponsored by the Georgina Chamber of Commerce and Rogers TV. So we thank them both for giving us all this opportunity. So let's get started. To introduce the candidates, I'd like you to meet Mike Waddington on my left, Charlene Biggerstaff in the center, and Glenn Wittenberg on my right. We're going to ask Mike Waddington to start us off with his opening remarks.
Hi, everybody. My name is Mike Waddington, and I'm running for this position because I truly believe that I can make a difference for the better. We've all experienced the negatives that politics can bring to all levels of government. People being elected with promises that are just too grandiose at the expense of a crumbling infrastructure, or expanding expenses, creating a debt load that will be a burden to the future generation. I'm not that candidate. I want to go in there and be an advocate for you and not flashy projects that I think are going to get me elected. I want safe streets, and that's going to be a primary concern of mine going forward. And I also want to expand and improve the recreational options throughout the town, but by upgrading what we already have instead of creating something that might not be necessary. More importantly, though, I want to be the person that you trust to understand how hard you work to support your family. And I won't just expand municipal expenses at the cost of your wallet. If you agree, please, on October 22nd, vote Waddington.
Thank you very much, Mike. Charlene.
Hi. With only a year and a half under my belt as your current Ward 1 councillor, I really have learned extensively about the job. I've supported responsible decisions in our council that will move us forward. The role of councillor takes responsibility in stewardship, leadership, and community trust. I have what it takes. I've backed financial stewardship that will steady our future taxes. Council leadership has been unanimous to grow our current growth market with our agritourism, and we've kept our eye on the MERC, large projects like the MERC, the business park, as well as the fire hall. Community trust has been growing, and this is good news. Through partnerships, communications, and by acting on citizen concerns, we are coming together every day more as a community. I've shown responsible stewardship, strong leadership, and built community trust. I will continue to do so, and you have my word.
Thank you very much. Glenn Wittenberg.
My name is Glenn Wittenberg, and we came to Georgina about 5 years ago because we fell in love with the town and the ambience of the neighborhoods here. I've seen over the last few years some changes that are happening, some for the better and some for the worse. And I'm stepping up to be a candidate for Ward 1 to help move forward the will of the people and keep an eye on some of the expenses with the town. Now, one of the issues that I won't be going is, excuse me, I will not exploit, for political reasons, my opponent's youth and inexperience. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to start the debate section of our program now, and I'm going to ask Charlene Biggerstaff the first question, and that is, Council is planning the construction of a $30 million multi-use recreational complex, commonly referred to as the Merc, and we're all familiar with it, and it's going to be located here in Ward 1. Can you give us your thoughts about what has been proposed?
Yes, thank you, Karen. Well, the Merc has been a project that's, I believe it's 4 years now, and when it's finally completed, it'll be a 7-year project. So multiple councils have done input, a series of studies have gone into it to look at our current services, to look at our recreational provisions, and we're looking at the growth projections moving forward. There's a gap. We're currently, of course, stuck often when families need their children to go and get swimming lessons. So we are almost at capacity. Many of our buildings are very aged. So with DC funding, so every new house that's being built, all the new buildings that are being built, we've put a levy in place that those monies collected in the next couple decades will offset the building, the new building, our community center, something that's important for our ability to stay healthy and longevity and feel a part of this place should come together, and it will be coming together.
Thank you. Glenn, would you like to respond to that question?
Well, I would like to say that the Merc is a nice idea. I think it would be good for the town, but I also caution on the cost. Some of the costs that they've said it's going to be paying for it are outdated figures. So I would like to see a more closer look at the cost, and if there's other ways that we can offset the cost, such as maybe working with a partnership with another person to build it. I'm not opposed to it, but I will caution on the expense of it there.
Okay, thank you very much. Mike Waddington.
I've got to admit, Charlene did hit the nail on the head when she's mentioning the fact that the DCs will fund this project. It's a tax that every single house effectively is levied when they're building. The thing that I don't agree with regarding the Merc is its closeness to the one that EG is building. Like East Gwillimbury is literally building one of these facilities 5 minutes south of where we're looking to build this Merc. And to me, to have two facilities that are going to have competing projects or services within the same catchment that can't support it, that just fiscally it doesn't make sense at all. And I think it's poor planning. What we should be doing is making use out of theirs while we can save that money and better spend it on other things, aging infrastructure, an expansion of the parks and beaches. You know, we need to put some effort into this fire hall in the southern part of Keswick. I think the Merc is going to be a good idea, but not yet.
Okay, thank you very much. Did anyone hear anything that they would like to challenge? Charlene?
Thank you, Karen. And I understand both the gentlemen's positions. Business partnerships we've already put RFPs out for business partnerships, sponsorships. Name this building. We'd love to have that. We're just not at that stage yet. Again, it's going to take another probably 3 years, if not possibly more, to work through it. Some of the numbers, you have to deal with the numbers as the numbers are. DC funding is looked at every 5 years, so the timing as we move forward on this will start to adjust that.
Okay, I have to go on to the next question. I want to thank you.
Oh, thank you.
There are growing concerns about, and this question I would ask Glenn Wittenberg actually to tackle first. There are growing concerns about traffic congestion and road safety in Ward 1. Would you please share your plans to address these issues if you are elected?
Well, that's a good one, Karen, because that's part of my platform there. I live along the Lake Drive South area there, and over the years we've seen an increase in people that just race around like crazy. It's like 60, 70 kilometers an hour. People are almost getting hit. People are walking their dogs, children are going to the parks, and they're almost getting hit by these people racing around. I think that we should look at making a couple more stop signs in the area there and see what other kind of traffic measures that we could do for calming the traffic around there. It wouldn't hurt to have one of those lighted speed lights that go up there to show how fast you're going. I know the town has put one over on Queensway, But what is that going to do to Lake Drive South area there? Because right now we've got people that are they're not from the area of Lake Drive South, but are using it as a bypass to stay off of Queensway for whatever reason. So we need to get a little bit more calming on the street there, something that the town has not done for quite a while.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Mike.
Excellent question to bring up, and it's actually one of the things that I'm hearing mostly at the door. This is a concern that is shared with me every single day. What I would love to see are some traffic calming measures. Glenn did mention Lake Drive South, and it is a concern. I would love to see the implementation of bollards in there to at least give people the idea that the lanes are smaller than what they are. And what that does is it actually makes people mentally slow down while they're driving down roads. Greater police enforcement is a necessity. Better signage, as Glenn mentioned as well, is something that's definitely going to have to be done. But realistically, what we need to do is get the word out. Like, these are not people out of town that are speeding down these streets because it's a place where there's no enforcement. These are our neighbors. And I think we need some sort of campaign out there just to wake everybody up that, you know what, when somebody gets hit or when a child gets hit, it's going to be far too late. We all just need to slow down a bit. Okay, thank you very much. Charlene.
These gentlemen have really done a great job with it. For over a decade, I've been teaching lifestyle and awareness, asking everybody to slow down. I can't do it alone. This is a community matter. We are on our community streets. These are our children. They're our dogs and they're our friends. We're not that important. Slow down. Yes, traffic calming measures need to come into place, and we're looking at those things. The Safe Streets has been doing a lot of work. We've put in more more speed radars. They are mobile, so we do move them around. But it does take that constant effort for people to call a non-emergency number if there happens to be one or two specific speeders on your street, because every street has this complaint, every door. It's the number one. Call that number. Start to create that hot spot. We will get more protection from our YRP, and we can do a little bit, just like the other gentleman said. We can do a few other things. We'll be working on that as we move forward in council.
Great. Thank you very much. My next question is for Mike Waddington. The legalization of marijuana will soon become a reality in Canada. The government has given municipalities a one-time opportunity to opt out of allowing marijuana retail outlets in their jurisdictions. Please tell us what your position is regarding the opt-out option and any concerns you may have regarding the retail sale of marijuana in Georgina.
Yep. Well, I'm gonna say this knowing full well that I'm going to annoy some people. I am personally opposed to a brick and mortar store in Georgina. I think it's a poor idea as a culture. However, my opinions on it might not be that of what the majority is. So I think this is going to be one of those rare times where a townwide referendum is likely going to be the best idea, and I will fully support however that comes about.
Okay, thank you. Charlene.
Thank you. It's a great question. In sitting at a round table with the Attorney General and several other community leaders, many positions and sides with what's coming forward with the retail model was spoken to. One of my largest concerns, and I voiced very clearly, was even the wording opt-out. I think it has confusion. The federal government has decided to legalize this product, and then to say opt-out, I think there's a confusion. To have some areas have it and not have it, I think there's confusion. But I think before we make any decisions, and the Attorney General wants all new sitting councils to make that as one of their first decisions, we need to talk to the people. And I think there's been a gap in us locally having that conversation with our people. I think it is the first thing we need to do, but broad brushing the word opt-out, I think, can scare some people and confuse the issue.
Okay. Glenn.
Well, I'm not really for having a brick and mortar marijuana shop either. It's something that's been going on in our neighborhood for many years. I mean, we already have a head shop up in Keswick here where they have the paraphernalia for the stuff there. I think a bigger issue, other than that, is the opioid epidemic that's sweeping across the nation here. And as Georgina is growing, we are starting to get more and more issues with the harder stuff, the marijuana, which is something that we should look at tackling for our neighborhood and our people here. If you look at some of the other towns that have come like Georgina and then have grown, they've had issues that have multiplied with their growth, and we could take a look at some of the other towns, how they've tackled them, and apply some of them to keep things the way we want to have it here, instead of having things get out of hand.
Okay. Yes, Mike, you'd like to respond?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Charlene, I don't mean to throw you under the bus here, but your answer deflected. I personally would like to know what your opinions on this are. Are you for or against it?
Am I allowed to speak?
Of course, yes.
Sorry. Well, I think it's not my personal decision. Being a counselor, you need to start to understand this isn't all about you. This is about the community. I haven't heard from our community. I don't know what they want. What I do know is the federal government has allowed cannabis to become socially acceptable, or an acceptable item, like a fridge, I guess you could say. It doesn't actually matter to me either way. It's what this community wants. So I'm just not trying to deflect, Mike.
No, I get that.
The role of a counselor is to speak for the people.
One thing that I would like to put up is that in your opening statement, you did mention the fact that you're a leader. And to make a comment of a deflection like that is not leading.
I lead by the will of the people.
I'm with Mike on this one here. You have to have certain convictions in your life, and you have to have a certain moral compass. Now, if you're dealing with what the people want, then you also have to bend to the will of the people. But you also have to have a certain moral compass. And my moral compass is, I'm basically against it. But if I have an overwhelming mandate from the people that they want to have it, well, then that's part of democracy, and you have to go with it.
That's kind of what I just said.
Not exactly, but...
All right. Thank you very much. My next question, I'm going to ask Charlene Biggerstaff to take for us. A privately owned business park designed to accommodate increased economic development opportunities for Georgina is located in Ward 1. How would you expedite development there, and how would you attract the types of industrial, commercial, and industrial organizations Georgina needs to offset our reliance on our residential tax base and provide increased job opportunities? This particular question is one that most people have tagged as the #1 issue facing our new council and previous councils for many years. So, would you like to take that one?
Sure. I think there's a reality and a timeline. We have finally got to the part where the business park is moving the earth. It is privately owned, so any one council can't force owners to make things happen. But we are at that stage, which is great news for this town. So we're about to move it forward. How are we going to attract businesses? We've already started that work with the business attraction study, and the strategy has helped us create a database, current product that could be coming down the pipe. We have it zoned for different areas, whether it's business, whether it's industrial, or whether it's commercial. So we have the zoning in place. We've got those pieces happening. We are having discussions, as always. We've had a few presentations in council, and we are more than open to bringing more commercial in.
Okay.
We can only do so much. We have to look good. We've done the part to show our bronze and to show that we're open for business.
Thank you very much. Glenn.
Well, I think that it's good if we can have a business complex in Keswick there, but I think it's been lacking for a long time. The town should step up a little bit more towards promoting it a little bit better, maybe in some trade magazines to attract some other businesses in that there. Right now, they need to have landfill in there. What has the town done to help the owner of the land there to help facilitate the landfill that they need? Mm-hmm. We're talking also about high-speed internet. Has the town approached Bell or Rogers to get the groundwork in that area there for the high-speed internet to attract businesses? I can say that some people have told me that we were supposed to have a Home Depot here. We don't have one. Home Depot had an issue with the owner of the land around the Walmart there, that they wanted to own the land and they could only rent it. That's when the town should step in and say, listen, if you want to have a Home Depot, let's try and find another location for you, and start encouraging other businesses to come in here.
We have to go on. Mike, would you take this question for us?
No, I'm good. No, I'm kidding. I'm actually going to agree with one thing that Charlene said there. As an apology for the last question, you cannot make this happen. Okay, it is privately run. What we can do though is incentivize it to happen. Every town will say that they've got a skilled workplace, a beautiful community, and access to major routes on highways, to the point where it's cliche. What we need to do is differentiate ourselves, set ourselves apart from everyone else. So we need to set in motion policies and then follow up with them to reduce red tape, to, like I said, incentivize investment from outside of town, and to help businesses grow. And not just the businesses that are coming from out of town. We also want the businesses in town to grow along with our community.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Okay, we've only got a few minutes left here. You've done a great job eating up our half hour. So I have one question here before we get into closing statements, and that is, this one goes to Glenn. Do you have any suggestions to help protect Ward 1 residents against increased incidents of crime? And we only have about 20 seconds each for you on this one.
Sad to say that Georgina is growing to a state that you have to lock your cars and your doors nowadays. I think that some of the proactive things that we can do in the community is have a neighborhood watch program set up. People can do simple things in their home as like perimeter lights that light up, or maybe cameras and that there, and this helps. But I think a community program for that, for Neighborhood Watch, would be a good step.
I have to move on, I'm sorry. Mike?
I honestly, I hope at least that all three of us are going to be agreeing on this one. Having Neighborhood Watch is an amazing idea. We need to take responsibility for ourselves and our neighborhood. The perimeter lights, good idea. We need police presence in areas where the crime is highest, and the best way to do that is to involve the police. So if you actually have, any thought that a crime is going on, call it in.
Thank you. Charlene, do you want to just take us to the end?
Again, I think this one's pretty straight up. It's about the community. It's about being a community. Know your neighbor. Know what it looks like, that they look safe. There's different horticultural design you can do. There's lighting design. Again, calling that emergency non-emergency number, excuse me, and getting that extra support from YRP. We're in it together.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
If I could say for a moment there, the police are good, but they can't be everywhere. Yeah. So I think it's more prudent to have a neighborhood watch and get neighbors to know each other and keep more of a watch in the neighborhood to help prevent some of these break-ins and the crimes that are happening.
Okay. Absolutely.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. So that's all the time we have for the debate part of this program. So I'm going to now ask you all to sit and think about your closing statements, and we're going to go in reverse order. So Glenn, you're going to have less time to think about your closing statement than the other two. So would you take the closing statement, please?
Well, as I said before, we've only been here for 5 years, but I've seen a lot of things that have happened here, and I would like to step up to be a representative to serve the people in Keswick here. We need a strong leader for some of the issues that we are going going to be facing and are facing right now. So with that in mind, I'm just going to ask that the people consider me as a candidate for Ward 1, and I'll do my best to serve the people. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Charlene.
Thank you. The role of a councillor takes stewardship, leadership, and community trust. I know what it takes. Stewardship ensures our well-being inside of our community, whether it's finances, whether it's our growth, whether it's our resource protection. I've always believed in leave it better than you found it. Leadership is about bringing people together and ideas, listening and learning. It's about taking action toward common goals. But we always have to remember that we're in this together. Community trust. Well, I know the value of getting to know people and the importance of sharing facts and the power of gathering input to really make good decisions at this level. This community really means a lot to me. You have my word as your Ward 1 councillor. I will continue to provide responsible stewardship, strong leadership, and build community trust.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Charlene. And Mike Waddington.
Thanks. Folks, I hope you believe that I'm the right person for this job. I've lived in Ward 1 with my wife Liz for over 12 years, and we love the community that we're in. I don't just say that I've got business experience and that I'm a hard worker. I was awarded York Region Small Business of the Year, and that proves it. I don't just say that I'm for the community. I was recognized for it in Portraits of Giving, which celebrated those who give back to the community. And I don't just say that I've got political experience. I've had the opportunity to meet with many ministers from the provincial and federal governments. I've had that opportunity to actually advocate for policy and legislation. And I've been an active participant in many Ontario Chamber roundtable events where I've been able to represent local businesses. It's these type of experiences that will help me advocate for you. If you want an honest, transparent, and rational thought on or a voice on council, please vote Waddington.
Thank you very much. I wish we had more time because I do have a lot more questions, that you could field and really at that point help our residents make an informed decision about your position on many of these issues. But I do want to thank you for what you've offered up to this point. But we do have to close our show, and I want to thank you for being here this evening, and I also want to thank you for watching. We hope this debate will make everybody, you'll be able to make an informed decision when you go to the polls on October 22nd. Rogers TV will be repeating its debate series right up until Election Day. But until then, please go out and vote because your vote really does count. Thank you for watching. I'm Karen Wolfe, and thank you to our candidates.